Yeah, what up, world? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, wherever you are. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're right here at the Tag Champs Podcast, the A Show. The A Show, part of the Big Propaganda Wrestling Podcast Network. You already know my name, man. It's the Beige Bomber, the Petty Messiah, your boy, Corey Jared in the building.
And it's your boy, you know what time it is. Don't watch me, watch Dynamite TV. I'm just here to carry Ryan Davidson's bag. That's it.
Man, get out of here. Get out of here. Man.
But y'all know, man, it's not about me. It's not about us. It's all about our very special guest today. And he is your reigning,
defending
Texas champion of reality of wrestling.
And he brought his belt this time.
I brought that just so I get on both cameras. I didn't forget. Look how pretty that belt is. Almost as pretty as me. All right.
Brian Davidson.
Yeah.
But he brought a very special guest, and I wanted him to bring this very special guest along. You know, she is
a brutally beautiful, charismatic queen, former champion. Man, it's just
mentor, teacher, developer, everything. Miss Sheeva, baby.
Thank you, guys.
Welcome.
Yeah. Good man, y'all nailed that. That's what's going on. I love that. Good energy.
Love it. So the last time we were here, Summer Champions. I believe it was right before Summer Champions.
Was that long ago? Man.
Right before Unify 2.
Oh, wow.
Which is crazy because what he's doing now is ridiculous.
It's super cool to see, man. As you know, him just doing his thing, and then just also effortlessly how he just hits like the double jump moonsault. The I love you solo, you know, like all that. Bro, I'm so happy for him, man, and just I can't wait to see what happens next for him, to be honest with you. It's super cool. Super cool.
Nobody's more deserving.
Yeah. It's good dude, man.
Deserving.
So for you, after that, you had a very interesting feud with a Mr. Danny Limelight.
Man.
A great one at that, man. That was a great feud.
Danny Limelight, yeah.
Let's jump into that. How was, looking back on it now, how was your series of matches, and how do you feel like as far as like character development between you guys? How do you think that transition?
I'm going to come right out the gate and just say that, like, I think besides having a great match with someone, I think what's just as important, if not more important, is the chemistry. And me and Danny had that. And I've known Danny for a minute. We've done a bunch of shows together. We never got a chance to work, but he's a guy that he's a pro, man. Like, he is a pro among pros, you know? And it's just one of those things where, like, it wasn't about me, it wasn't about him, it was about the match. It was about the story that we could tell. And when you have two guys that get on the same page like that, man, I hate to sound cliche, but it just magic, man. And like, that's why, because I know like the championship got changed and he threw the Texas title in the trash, put a ugly New York Yankees freaking. That's why they lost the World Series. Danny Limelight cost the Yankees the World Series. Good job, Danny, Poppy.
Job, Danny.
That's what happens when you mess with the Texas title. You're like, your Yankees lose. Lankies. Anyways, but like all that, the belt was actually secondary. It was a feud between him and I, right? That set up for that steel cage, man. And I can tell you that I can only count on one hand like the number of guys that I've faced across the ring that I have that type of chemistry with. So like the respect is all there, and he's a pro. And just like I know we were talking about Jacob Fatu, I would love to see Danny Limelight under some big lights somewhere. You know what I mean? I think he's well on his way, man, to be honest with you. And I think it's only a matter of timing because he's got it and then some. So respect. I mean, I did beat him, but other than that, like, I'll be honest with you, it takes two to tango, man, and my respect and hats off for him, and I'm glad anybody loved that feud, man. It was cool.
So, to you, what is more important? Is it the actual having and defending of the championship, or is it the chase? Because you have to chase to get it back.
Man, it is two different types of pressure. It's two types of pressure. So it really just depends, really, because part of me wants to outright out the gate say the chase, right? But also at the same time, like, there's something that comes with of, like, you got to understand, man, like, I've been the longest reigning Texas champion ever, right? I honestly didn't think I would hang on to that championship for as long as I have until Danny came into the picture. So to even try and keep anybody interested or not be bored at the fact that I've been champion for so long, that's a different type of pressure, right? So really to answer that question, I don't really know. I mean, I think they're both kind of equal, right? At the end of the day, the only thing I'm trying to do is just make sure I keep paying rent when I put my boots on and, just keep adding value as best I can, man, no matter who I'm in the ring with. And I'm just, I'm grateful for all that and then some, man. So.
Okay. The new design of the belt.
Man, look at this belt.
So you had the older model.
Well, we didn't.
We're not gonna.
We didn't see the.
That's
No, we didn't see the older model. I mean, we saw the older model, but our fans on the show didn't see the older one.
Older model. Hey.
Yeah,
There's nothing wrong with that
we
older
ain't gonna
model.
talk about that though. We ain't gonna talk about that.
We ain't gonna talk about that.
It's here now. It's here. The new one's here now.
It's a shame nobody got to see it.
Hey man, it's in Book's office. I'm gonna. Hey, we're going to Book's after this, and I'm just be like, hey Book, you mind if I borrow that title for a few days? I could just bring it here. Hey, we can have it with one of the other championships. 'Cause this whole room is full of gold, man. I love it. So yeah.
So even with that, how does it feel within the reality of wrestling, and now with the whole new landscape, the new crop of talent that's coming in? Because there's been a lot of talent since when you were here last time.
Oh,
to
yeah.
now.
Yeah. Right out the gate, yeah, I joke about this all the time, but it's also true. I am no longer the biggest guy in the locker room or one of the biggest. I am mid-card size is best because we got some giants in the reality wrestling locker room. I mean, giants. I mean, Edge Stone, you got Gaspard Hernandez, you got Haka. The list goes on and on. You got some giants that are in there, right? But, that's just to name a few, man. I mean, we see Will Allday come back, and then, of course, we see Terrell Tempo come back. They're killing it right now. In my opinion, it's some of the best wrestling that reality wrestling is showcasing right now between Allday and Tempo. Like, their matches are going great, and I'm excited to see how it continues to unfold. But, like, there's so many different young talent from literally all over the globe, I mean, and it's super cool to see. But, what comes with that is pressure, man. Like I said, making sure I keep rent paid with the boots on and, make sure that value stays high, man. So that competition's always there, man. And it's going to continue to do it, especially along with that NXT talent that comes in, you know what I mean? And then we have TNA talent coming up that's coming in, right? So it's very exciting, but man, if it was a lot of pressure before, it's 10 times more of that now. So got to be ready.
And speaking of that pressure, and adding on to what you just said, the WWE just did the WWE ID. Yeah. With they got a couple multiple promotions, reality wrestling being one of them.
Yeah, man.
How do you feel about that? How do you feel about that news that just broke a couple weeks ago?
From me personally, that is a almost 20-year overnight success. As long as I've known Booker T, I've known Kevin Bernhardt, I've known Sharmell, that has been the goal. There's been quite a few times that it's came close and then the timing wasn't right or this and that, but just the fact that reality wrestling is now a part of the WWE developmental, like that, once again, that was the be-all, end-all for as long as I've ever been a part of Raw. Back then it was PWA. Everybody that's ever came across PWA and reality wrestling, and everybody played a part in doing it. They really did, from the Kevin Bernhardts to the Brad Gilmores to me to all the wrestlers past and present, ladies that were past and present, Sharmell, of course, and like that's the thing of just to see all this completely unfold. Like I texted both Kevin and Book the day that it got announced, and I'm just like, isn't it wild that finally happened? Because as long as I've known you, this has been the goal, man. And they were both like, yeah, man, it's crazy, but let's go. And I'm like, yeah, let's go, man. Because that's all the late nights, man. All the late nights loading up trucks and doing that. And still even to this day, man, like everybody wears so many different hats, right? It's not just about being a wrestler. There's people pressing shirts and doing the tickets and the money and and just all kinds of different stuff, man. I can go on and on about it, but at the end of the day, I'm just super proud that reality wrestling is part of the WWE developmental system, and I played a part in it, which is great, you know, and a lot of people did. So it's a very good achievement. So it's super cool.
Good deal. I'm excited about it.
Yeah,
I can't
man.
wait for it. I can't wait for the future for it.
Yeah, it's
wrestling.
wild.
I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
So your next upcoming challenger, which was announced today, I believe, Mr. Nick, was it? I was I can't remember that. Oh, I'm having a brain lapse.
I give you that answer if you want it.
Go ahead.
Richard Holiday.
Richard Holiday.
Yeah, man.
You know
Good
what I was
wrestler.
thinking? You know what I was thinking?
Great
I was
wrestler.
thinking
Nick Holiday.
And I kept thinking Nick, and I'm like, I know it's not Nick. It's not Nick.
Nick don't want none. I see you, Nick.
I already know. Nick
Come on there and step in there, bro.
No parts of that.
Come on in there, man.
Don't want that smoke.
I can speak for him. Nick don't
Yeah.
want no parts of that.
But as, like I said, in this new regime that you guys are in now, how does it feel to have someone come in and like just having the challenge of having to face a new opponent?
I think it goes back to the pressure and the amount of like the influx of talent that's coming in, man. Like it's not just WWE, but it's TNA, and then there's also, you know, MLW in there, and there might be, you know, other things, you know what I mean, and or other places. And like a guy like Richard Holiday, man, I'm not gonna lie, like I got my work cut out for me. Like that's gonna be a very competitive match, man, with this Texas title on the line. You know what I'm saying? So like it's, you know. It's going to be something I'm looking forward to, but it's also got to make sure, you know, I got to make sure that I'm ready for it. And I feel ready. I feel good. So, yeah, it's going to be a good match, man. I'm looking forward to it.
Okay. So let me pivot to Mama Bear.
Let's go, Mama Bear. Let's go.
What can I do for you?
Let's go, Mama Bear.
You were in the Sherry Martel Classic recently. It was pretty much a return for you. How was that experience just coming back to the ring off of injury?
So I was a part of the very first Sherry Martel Classic as well, and it was the exact same situation. You know, it wasn't just like a comeback refresher kind of thing. It was almost like a rebranding of myself, because it took a long time, but now I'm officially me, if that makes sense. Instead of, you know, trying to fit a mold, I'm busting through it. So it was very liberating. Everyone that was a part of the Sherry Martel Classic came in and they gave every bit of energy, every bit of all that they know within wrestling, and they brought it. You know, I have absolutely no qualms with the fact that I didn't make it past the first round. I'll admit that wholeheartedly. Gigi gave a good fight, and you know, she deserves her flowers, and she made it to the end. At the least I can say that I fought the person that went all the way down, and promise, you know, she got it. So
I will say this because I was in attendance. Gigi escaped.
she did.
She escaped.
She got it. She got it.
Gigi's a good friend of the podcast, but I mean, I gotta call a spade a spade.
She escaped. Oh man, that's wild.
It was dominance, bro. Like, I ain't go. Like, if you ain't seen it, it was dominance.
I wasn't there, so I know I missed it. But if you saying that she was handling the business like that,
She was handling the business.
I can believe it. I can
Handling
believe
the
it.
business,
I'll tell you something about that match. So I got to agent a few of those matches for the Sherry Martel Classic, and then you know, of course, the main event with Gigi and Promise, they went out and killed it. But I can tell you, during Shiva's match with Gigi, I was sitting next to Jay Alexander. While I was watching this, I was going, PayPal, Venmo, Cash App. And he looked at me and he's like, why are you saying that? I'm like, the way Gigi getting thrown out, she must own, you know, go her some money, because this just, I mean, like, I don't know, like Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, you know, just, yeah, it was crazy. Good job, Mama. Just throwing them around like we talked about. Just throw them around.
But I wanna deep dive, because some of our fans may not know who Sheeva is. So I wanna ask, starting this wrestling journey, what was your inspiration? What inspired you to get into the business?
You're looking at him.
Oh, it's not true.
It is
not true.
absolutely true. So I'll tell you a little story, and I'll keep it as short as possible.
I'm getting a little nervous. All right, here we go.
I went to this little show in Arlington, Texas. It was called PCW. and it was a winter show. And if I remember correctly, the match that I finally turned around to one of my best friends, much like you guys, and I turned around to her and I was like, I could do this. You know, I was a soccer player, cheerleader, all this stuff. I was like, man, I really want to do this. This is awesome. Was Robert Evans versus Ryan Davidson.
Oh, I remember that match.
Yeah.
Yeah, Robert Evans, man. Yeah. Really good wrestler. Very, very good.
Very good.
Very good.
But it was just phenomenal, and I was starstruck, and, you know, everybody looked at me like I was crazy and everything else, and I just went for it. So that's how that little start happened.
You just dove in head first.
I dove right in and been floating since.
So you've been in you started in what 2007, 2008?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
2007 going into 2008.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, she's been like a 15, 16 year vet by now. I did a little research on my lady here, you know. So it's like I know you've been in River City Wrestling, Reality Wrestling, of course. You've been in NWA. Champion as well in those promotions. NWA Texoma Women's Champion.
That's correct. Yeah.
RCW Phoenix Champion, if I'm correct, and Tag Champ.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, so he was
Man, did that homework,
Yeah,
man.
know,
Let's
he
go.
did do that. I'm
Love
impressed.
that.
Which
Love
RCW
that.
just had like a little ceremony, and they honored her as well in that ceremony.
Exactly.
Yeah, man.
Exactly. So, yes,
I could tell you at RCW, you know, most places it's like Shiva will always joke and be like, "Oh, I'm here with Ryan," but when it comes to being at RCW in San Antonio, I'm with Shiva. Like that's her spot. Like I'm in the background. Like hey, yeah. So
She did that. Okay. So I want to go into your career, into your career a little bit. As far as your matches go, what would you say is your favorite match and favorite opponent as far as since you've been in the business?
yeah, that's a good question. I like that.
You know, my favorite match that I have had was actually against, she now is Roche Chanel. It was
five.
Number 5.
number 5. Yeah, number 5.
Diamond
It.
I had a match with her back when she still was going by Raquel. And it was a baseball kind of thing that she had going on. And we had we had this it was in the middle of a VFW or something like that. And she and I out of nowhere pulled out this banger that never really got put on social or was never televised or anything like that. But it was honestly one of my favorite matches. I remember walking away so happy. I had so much fun with it, you know, being the big bad guy and everything. But, you know, our chemistry was just there. And it's one of those, you know, few matches where you walk away and you're like, that's what wrestling's about, man. That's what it's about. Opponents wise, you know, Roche, I love Roche. Gigi, I genuinely had a blast with her. You know, overall, I have worked so many different people over the years, whether they be, some have made it all the way to the big dub. Some are currently signed with TNA. As to pick a favorite, I don't know if I honestly could. So
No, that's fair. That's fair. No, you got it. It's I know it's a lot to go through and everything like that. So trying to choose one, it's
Trying to go through one in 15, 16 year span. That's
it's a long file folder, man.
Right.
So I will ask you this question as far as the women's division in reality wrestling from when you started to now, the growth. How is just being there, seeing that, and your take on the growth of the Diamonds division?
Let me tell you. All right. Let me tell you,
Got
brother.
the hands out. All right.
All right.
All right. Let's buckle up. Safe seatbelt. Let's go.
11 years ago, I did my first tryout for Reality of Wrestling. And at the time, there was only one female in the back. My tryout was actually with Roche. So didn't go well. Booker stopped it within like the first 60 seconds. You know, we all live and we learn. But You know, to see it grow, I've seen all this talent literally come out of Row, come into Row, things along that nature. And it was rocky for a little bit. You know, you only had a handful of girls. Not very many girls were traveling or they were worried about this or that. But just in the last year, almost 2 years, the pure growth of what is reality of wrestling has merged into the women's division, and the talent that is being showcased is just phenomenal. The locker room has an amazing energy. These girls are out there to get it. They're doing stuff that, you know, I couldn't even dream of it even being on TV when I was coming up. I had to watch men's matches or Japanese wrestling in order to really get any kind of like studying done. And these girls are out there, they're working better than certain promotions out there that are national television. Like they should be signed. They should be signed. Every single one of them.
Yikes.
Yeah. Hey, man. Try and watch out for the heat, brother. You know what I mean? Watch out what you say, brother.
She was trying.
You know.
They call her the goddess of destruction for a reason.
I don't have a filter, brother. Yeah. I call it as I see it.
And that's why I love her so much. I'm like, yeah, you tell him. You know, like, little bark. I'll just hang in the background. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
You're here with her.
I mean, kind of. Yeah. I mean, we'll talk about that. Yeah. Anyways.
So, I do want to get on a kind of touchy subject. We had a challenger who basically called his shot to any champion of his choosing. Hey, Q, roll that beautiful bean footage for us.
Oh boy, I can't wait. I
Emily
can't
May
wait.
standing by a reality of wrestling, and my special guest at this time,
this guy.
Max Castanos. Welcome. Always great to see you. But I have heard, and many of us here at Row have heard, that you have put the champions on blast. Can you elaborate?
If you haven't been keeping up, Max Castanos won the King of the Summer Battle Royal, which means I can pick any champion. Clay Roberts, you're not safe. Zillafah 2, you're not safe. And next week, Ryan Davidson versus Cam Cole for the Texas Championship. A championship I never lost. All you boys are not safe. So tic-tac, el tiempo se les acaba, porque yo soy el chingón de Texas, Max Castanos.
See, a real man would have inhaled that cigar, Max Castanos. Just letting you know. They sit there and be like, "Oh, you do it for the taste." No, you don't know, man. By the way, that same cigar I saw at the Texaco right up the street, so he's getting gas station cigars and all that other stuff. So, good job. Big star. Big
So
star.
before we get into that, what I want to get into is after that, which kind of is told. I guess he chose the champion of his choosing, or maybe he just threw a shot and hey, you never know, you know. But do you have? This is your time to shine. This is your time to speak. Do you have any choice? Yeah, that's your camera.
Yeah.
Do you have any choice words for Mr. Max Castanos?
You know, I could tell there's not many things to say with the dude that gets his suits from JCPenney, and he's PayPaling his escorts that come out with him and everything like that because, you know, can't hold down one woman like I can. So, but I could tell for Max, he obviously made his choice and put me flat on my back with his finisher, which is totally fine, but he's just next in line from a long list of guys that I've beaten. So I faced Max Castanos quite a few times at Row, and he's lost every single time.
Oh, so he's
Every single time.
So he's
In fact, you can go on YouTube and you can look at it and you can actually watch over and over again how many times Ryan Davidson has actually beat Max Castanos. So this is no, you know, this isn't anything new to me, you know. I mean, he's got cutting edge. And look, all jokes aside,
Rebranded himself?
Max is a very great athlete. He's a great wrestler. I know for a fact it's going to be competitive. He's got a mean right hand, too. Totally understand that. But I have not been the longest reigning Texas heavyweight champion without beating guys like him. So history's just going to repeat itself. Rinse due every time I put my boots on, boys, and they're going to get paid in full at the expense of Max Castanos. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, that's. Hey, well, Max, you already know what time you on, man. It's just a matter of time. So you should be used to being on your back when you're in the ring with Ryan.
Tell me how many lights there are at the Royal Arena, big dog. Tell me how many lights there are.
He should know by now. It's
Yeah.
just already
Let's
ingrained
see.
in him already.
Let's see. Chris Van Fleet, Clay Roberts, and Ryan Davidson. Yeah. It hasn't been a good year for Mr. Castanos.
He got a lot of people coming in. He got a lot of smoke coming in.
It's
Literally and figuratively,
Yeah,
man.
he got
Inhale
a
that
lot
cigar.
coming his way, man.
bad.
It's Jesus Christ, man. Hey, Max, man, I'm sorry. I'm not sorry, but why'd you do this to yourself, man? Don't.
Hey, man.
He could back out. He's got plenty of time.
Yes, I mean,
he can learn his
got
ways.
a lot of
Hey.
time until the next show, so it's just
All I
Just-
gotta say is just let the boy learn. That's all I gotta say.
And get your ass whooped.
As long as he keeps his toothpicks in the back.
Yeah. What? Oh, toothpicks? Oh, is that are you talking about his ladies or lady?
The Dollar Tree.
The Heartbreakers.
Dollar Tree. Dang.
Yeah, the Heartbreakers.
All right.
Saying.
All right.
Heartbreakers is crazy. I'm not
Yeah,
gonna lie to you.
you know why?
I got that.
Heartbreakers is an institution over there on 45 South.
How would you know?
I mean, hey, so next subject, right? Topic. Hey, what's going on? Yeah.
Oh man,
So I'm going to throw this out here for you because it seems like Max has chosen his opponent. But I do want to ask you, who, if anyone, like, and even including this WWE ID thing that's coming up with all the influx of talent, who has Ryan Davidson? Who would Ryan Davidson love to face that he hasn't faced before?
Man, that's kind of hard because I've pretty much almost wrestled everybody there is to be at Row, right? But there's also quite a few people that I haven't wrestled for or with in a while. I will say there is one guy that I have not had a match with, a guy that I have played a small part in helping developing. Zilla Feuds, if he ever wants some, teacher be more than happy to show the student how it works. But I can tell you what, if I need some lessons on social media, I'm going to Zilla because it's like the guy will post a picture of him eating a sandwich and it's like 400,000 likes. You know what I'm saying? I'm sitting there posting stuff of me breaking my back in a match and I get maybe 20, 30 likes or whatever. And I'm just hitting him up like, Oos, how you doing this, man? And it's just like, it's crazy. But don't get me wrong, me and Zilla are boys. I love Oos to death. But I think it would be very interesting for a Ryan Davidson Zilla Feuds match. And I've yet to step in the ring with him. We've tagged, and he's a great tag partner. I wouldn't mind more tag matches, but, you know, maybe that day will come, maybe it won't. Who knows? So.
Oh, speaking of that, your match with Lexus King,
Yeah.
because you have had an NXT
yeah.
superstar
Yeah.
in the ring. How your mindset on going into that match and when it actually happened, like the result, like your thoughts on the outcome.
Well, I mean, you know, Lexus is at NXT for a reason, and he's pretty much been successful pretty much everywhere he's went. So I know it was a challenge for me, but I think it was something to the fact of just needed to be reminded of, can I hang with some of the most top, you know, progressive talents that are coming up in the game today? And I honestly can say yes. Also, just being a lifelong wrestling fan, just the fact that, you know, his dad is absolutely one of my favorites. So I've gotten to get in the ring, you know, with the son of Brian Pillman, I think is super cool. Lexus is a great athlete. Definitely gave me a run for my money. Of course, going back to Zilla, me and Zilla tagged against him in Limelight. Great match. We had our work cut out for us, though. Zilla almost died like 2 or 3 times. So did Danny Limelight, right? But, you know, got through it and got out with the win, man. But, yeah, no, Lexus is he's nothing but talent, man. It's great to see what he's doing at NXT as well. So
I'm glad that you said what you said about his father.
yeah.
Do you think we have a attitude era without his father?
Do I think we have an attitude era without his father? I mean, I would say no, because he played a big part in that. I would also say there's quite a few. I mean, we can go list on and on, but I mean, I don't know, man. You can't.
Because he kind of was in my eyes, he kind of was the catalyst, you would
Yeah.
say, for it.
For that time period.
For that
yeah.
time
Dude,
period.
he's a loose cannon. He pulled a gun on Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Which was
Right, you can't get much more attitude than that.
And he played.
I'm gonna blast him.
Yeah,
Oh, it's
and
great.
And he played companies against each other.
Oh,
he
dude,
played
yeah.
WCW against ECW and and everybody against.
It's my kind of man right there.
Yeah, I'm once again I'm a very big fan of Brian Pillman and his work, and stuff like that. Despite that, horrific leg injury that he had with that motor accident that he had, I believe, and still he always found a way to just like not only be entertaining but to just keep people paying attention to what he was doing, and stuff like that. So once again, just to be able to step in the ring with his son, Lexus King, man, is like super cool. And he's making, his own name for himself, you know what I mean? And doing that, man. So, family lineage carries on in the business. So it's cool.
So I will give you your kudos because that's something that you do a lot too in your matches. You always keep the crowd involved. And that's what I always tell Corey this every time he's in a match. He's a ring general. Like, because he can command the crowd even when the crowd is not into it all the way.
Right.
Like you'll look out, you'll take those moments to stop and have everyone just soak in the moment.
Right.
And that's the cool thing about you and how you conduct your business in the ring.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that compliment. I also will say, a lot of people ask me of like people that like train at Row and stuff like that. Because being one of the trainers there, you get a lot of questions and stuff and try and help out as much talent as you can. They're just like, well, what's the difference between this and that? Or how do you bring this or whatever? I go, energy. It's energy. It's the energy that you bring, right? Whether you're bringing the energy for cheers or you're bringing the energy for booze, it's energy. But for me as a performer, I can understand how you get easily caught up in the performing aspect, but you can't neglect the fact that you're in a giant arena and there's a bunch of people staring at you, right?
Yeah,
and that's one of those things to where it's like, how could you not try and dip into that? And plus, that's what makes professional wrestling, as far as live entertainment goes, different from anything else. I can buy a ticket to go to a concert. I can buy a ticket to go to a movie. And all I'm doing there is that I might make noise, I might clap if I see something good, might cheer. But in wrestling, if you do it right, like the fans are actually a part of the show. And as a performer, why would I take that away from them, whether they like me or they don't like me, right? And just try and just let them know that no matter what I'm doing in that ring, like, hey, I'm aware you guys are liking this. Oh, you're not liking this? Okay, cool. And just get them engaged, because we all know today how very easy it is to reach in your pocket and pull out that phone.
Yep.
Right? And take your mind elsewhere. I just never want to be a guy that anybody's trying to go get popcorn when I'm stepping in the ring. You know what I mean? So I'm just trying my best to just try and keep people's attention, entertain, and just do the best that I possibly can do. So, and I appreciate that compliment. That's awesome. Thank you. It's really cool.
So let me ask you this question, because I had a picture that was funny. I posted it one day on our page. Are we taking headbutts anymore?
Am I taking headbutts anymore?
Are you giving head? Oh no, I take it back. Are you giving?
Am I giving headbutts? I mean, I don't know. Well,
the last one, you was on the ring apron for like a good little minute or two, just trying to recalibrate.
Yeah. So that's the whole thing. That's kind of like the rule of like when you're in there. First of all, like I absolutely love the Samoan culture, even without it being so in depth in pro wrestling. I just find like the history and just the culture so fascinating. But there is one thing that you have to know is that like if you try and do a headbutt or punch anyone of that culture in the forehead, it just doesn't work. And if they bring it to you, you're done. Mm-hmm. So Zilla's like, "Oos, headbutt," and I'm like, "You sure?" And he's like, "Oos, come on." And I'm like, "Okay, man." I forgot math for like 30 seconds, and I was just all like, "Tag him, you must." Thing, hey, I couldn't even make words. I'm like trying to cheer on Zilla while he's putting in the work, but no, man, like, yeah. So is that what you're talking about?
Yeah,
with the headbutts
what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that was the last time that I ever threw a headbutt. So, by all means, but nah, Zilla. Yeah, Zilla, I'm gonna leave that to Zilla, man. Hey, you take care of that, big dog. I got you.
Oh, man, that is hilarious. But again, I want to get back to Mama Bear, the dominant one. So
Just remember that.
we're gonna. I was gonna say something about that.
Talk real big right now.
That's actually the question that I was going to ask. Who's the dominant one here?
I mean, that shouldn't even been a question. It shouldn't have been a question.
I'm doing the slow head.
Yeah, it shouldn't
That's
have
fine.
been a question.
That's fine. All right. So to be fair, between stop it. Stop it. Stop it.
I love it. This is ratings.
All right.
This is views.
All right. You be an extra. Stop it.
By the way, I might know that might sound like I'm the one being the aggressive one, but no, I get hit a lot, so it's okay. I get hit with love. Yeah,
Okay. Now, no. So
Anyways,
Blink twice if you.
blink twice if you're
I'm
safe,
Morse code with
Ryan.
my eyeballs. Help.
Blink twice, you say, please.
Morse code.
So it depends on the situation. We're very much a give and take. It's if he's got 80%, I got the other 20, or if I've got 60 today, he's got the 40. Even when he forgets his math with Zilla headbutts, it's all good. But it really just depends. Like I situations, real life situations happen, and it could be that I'm going to be the one, being the dominating force in that. Whereas, if it's wrestling related, for the most part, that's all him. He's the ring general. He's the cornerstone. He is the GOAT of reality of wrestling in a way, for an absolute reason. Whether we're training, if it's, you like how he could take a compliment from you guys, but he can't take one from me.
I appreciate them. I do. I just, man, I don't know, man.
You're the
I
final
can't rest
boss,
on
brother.
Those laurels, man. I don't know.
Rock took you-
Rinse do every
Rock took
day,
you-
guys.
it took
Right.
Hey, and I'll be fair to touch on that for a second.
I was gonna
with
say
the Rock,
that.
with the final boss. I can tell you this right now. I had so many messages of people that reached out to me about that, and they were like, "What do you feel about the Rock?" And I'm like, "It's the Rock."
You stole it from
Right?
the Rock.
Now, I appreciate Book saying something on the Hall of Fame podcast on his radio show talking about, he might owe Ryan some royalties. I'm like, yeah, let's get some money out of this. Yeah. Hey, Dwayne.
He has
Hey,
enough.
Dwayne. I know Moana 2's coming out. You ain't doing too bad in the pocketbook. Yeah, maybe, throw a few this way. But no, honestly, it's The Rock. Like, the final boss. Yeah. Okay, you know what I mean? I'm like, it's The Rock, like, what am I going to do? He can call himself Ryan Davidson if he wanted to. It's The Rock. It's fine. It's not a big deal. But as far as who, to back up what Shiva was saying, as far as like, who's the dominant one or what have you, I can be honest with you. I know that a lot of times, pretty tough to deal with. Not that I try to be. It's just I have my good days, I have my bad days and everything like that. But I can tell you this woman keeps me in line whether I like it or not. And I'm so grateful for that. And when it comes to the wrestling and stuff, the only thing I do for her or for anybody else is that I'm not trying to get anybody to try and be a pro wrestler the Ryan Davidson way. I'm not. The only thing I'm trying to do is just trying to find their true thing that makes them dim and makes them different than somebody else and just bring that out of them as best I can, right? Because if everybody was just getting advice from me, like, it'd be great, but it'd be awful because you also have guys like Aiden Cristiano, you have Gino Medina, you have Will Alday, you have Eric Lockhart, you have Edge Stone, you have all these other different great talents that you can go and ask these things from, right? So don't just go into me. You know what I mean? But I do appreciate that compliment. Her and I have a pretty healthy relationship. There are times where she reached for something and I might flinch a little bit, just to do the stuff. There's probably a reason why for that. Car rides might be interesting after this podcast. I don't know.
That's okay. I can't take a hug from him without thinking I'm going to get suplexed into something. So
Yeah,
it's
that's
perfectly
very
all right.
true, especially if we're in a swimming pool.
Oh, no, it's done.
Oh, yeah, it's right into the pool. But honestly, this is my lady, and I wouldn't change a thing about her, and I'm so proud of her too. Let alone the fact of just like the adversity, man, that the physical ailments that she's had to deal with and surgeries and stuff like that, and for her to persevere from that, because like, man, like I complain if the dogs jump on my lap. You know what I mean? The dogs, whatever. Like this woman has had knee surgeries and all these other different things, and just so many different trials that they've gone through and still persevered. Because I can honestly say that if I had the same injuries, there's no way I would have been able to come back to wrestling. But she did. So when it comes to strength out of her and us, or between her and I should say, way stronger than me. Hands down. Not even a comparison. Not even a debate. Landslide.
That's real.
I got my
Landslide.
I got my touching moment today. So I always try to pull it. I always try to pull it out. You know what I mean?
It's all about energy and willpower,
I do
brother.
appreciate when I see y'all at the shows, of course, and everything. I do appreciate y'all. I mean, y'all dynamic is a beautiful thing to see. Even as like y'all are genuine with each other, so I
We
do
try to be.
appreciate that.
Yeah, well, thank you.
I
We
do appreciate
try to
y'all
be.
for that.
We have our moments though.
It happens.
Wouldn't trade her for anything though. She's great.
I do want to ask you. So you did say a talent that recently came back, and I want to get you guys' thoughts on Mr. Gino Medina coming back to reality wrestling.
Dude,
Awesome.
amazing.
Awesome.
So happy.
I love, I look at guys like Gino the same way I look at like Brian Keith and other different people of like just seeing them just come up in and they're so good. They're way better than I was like, my 5th year compared to their 5th year. And, a lot of them have been wrestling longer than that and stuff because Gino's been in the game for a minute, but he's just a guy that I can honestly say Gino, he was born to be a professional wrestler, right? Which is, not too far from saying since his dad was, famous luchador, right? And stuff. And he's just doing a phenomenal job of just keeping that in the family and continues to get better and better and better. So for him to come back and to be completely different with a different look, a different energy, different edge, it's like, man, let's go. Because Gino, he's one of my favorites to watch, honestly. His question mark kick is my favorite kick of all professional wrestling. He throws that, and I've taken it. And that was another thing I didn't remember math. Not a lot of math remembering from these headbutts, question mark kicks, all this other stuff. But no, Gino's great, man. I can honestly say, like, whoever's on the card with Gino Medina, it's like, that's potentially match of the night right there, flat out. So if I got to follow that, I'm not going to be a happy camper. You know what I mean? And if I got to follow Gino, I'm like, oh, God, all right.
And what's crazy, he's young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, still super young. And
Still super young.
And here's the thing too of just like with Gino, he is deceptively big. Just for him to do the things that, like, he's not a small guy by any means. Like, he's big and like got even more muscle on him, and just the way that he moves
and everything else. Man, he looks
everything,
amazing.
man. Like dude, that guy, like, once again, like, the sky's the limit for him, man. So it's great to have him back.
Okay.
I don't know if did we ask him last time about Brian Keith?
No.
Because I did want to ask him how do you feel about Brian, like where Brian Keith is now from where he started.
I mean,
now.
I joke with him because I just saw him like a few nights ago because we did training together. But I just told him, and I go, I know on TV you're the bad apple, but you're the best apple, bro. Like, just remember that, right? And it just kind of chuckled and everything. But like, I mean, it's the same way I feel about watching Jacob and watching a bunch of different guys. Like, just where this guy's at, I'm just sitting there just like, I think I remember telling him, I think the first time I saw him in a while, because he started coming back to Row to like just help with training and get in the ring and stuff besides his AEW schedule. And I'm just sitting there going, man, isn't it crazy? Like, did you ever think that you'd just be on TV just shoulder to shoulder with Chris Jericho? Like, isn't that wild? He's all like, bro, he's like, wild. And I'm just all like, yeah, crazy. But it's so awesome to see. And he deserves it, man. He deserves it. I know deserve is a dirty word, especially in pro wrestling, because nobody ever really deserves anything or whatever. But dude,
he deserves it.
hey man, that guy has earned anything and everything, and he's rose above it, because a lot of people get opportunities, man, but it's the difference between, can you make something out of those opportunities? And BK found his way, man. BK found his way. He flat out did.
Cowboy to the Desperado.
Yeah,
man,
he doing the damn thing.
you know what I mean? And it's just so happy for him, and I continue to be, man. So like, just to see him just be a part of anything, like, it's awesome. And like I said, my mind, the best apple. So it's good, dude.
So we're gonna hit Sheeva with the speed round.
Yeah.
Let's go, Shiva speed round. Let's go. I remember the speed round. Yeah. Let's go, Shiva speed round.
Shiva with it. All right. So I don't know if you haven't watched the episodes or don't know. Just throwing out quick little questions. First name pops up in your mind. Just blurt it out there. Greatest wrestler of all time.
Brian Davidson.
Bro, I'm leaving. I'm getting out of here.
Yeah, no bias at all.
Man.
No bias at all.
She's only saying that so like if I say something bad, she's gonna be like, "Remember, I put you over on the podcast." All right, and I'm gonna be like,
So Ryan Davidson and Bull Nakano. That's we're gonna roll.
I'm gonna go with Bull Nakano. She legend,
right
man.
there, right there. Okay,
Anyways,
She is
well,
legend.
thank you, honey.
favorite high flyer.
High flyer. Indie or signed?
It does matter.
AJ
Just in
Styles.
general.
Okay, AJ. Oh, we haven't got that one in. I don't think we got that one in a while or ever. Well, anyway,
Just out now.
yeah. Outside of yourself, favorite female wrestler.
I already named her.
Yeah, she did. Wanna come?
Bull Nakano.
Yeah, that's right.
So you
Okay,
kinda
yeah,
kills
she
two
kinda-
birds.
two birds, one stone. Right, fair enough. Favorite technical wrestler.
Technical. Oh.
And you can say his name if you don't.
Don't you dare say my name because I am not that technical.
No, you're not technical.
I know a lot of holds, but I am not that technical.
You know, I've got a couple. I would say, you know, I'm going to give a shout out to the road talent because right now, Clay Roberts is killing it,
Yep.
man.
Let's go, Clay
God,
Roberts.
There we go,
Clay, I've been
Let's go,
watching.
Clay Roberts.
I have been watching.
Roll
I've been-
Tide.
dude. Right now,
Roll
hands
Tide.
time.
Skipperville.
Like, dude.
Pride of Skipperville. Let's
I
go.
can name a
Yeah.
few signed talent, some that are no longer around, but man, Clay's been killing it.
It's about what you think. It's what you
That's
think.
fair,
All right,
baby.
and,
That's fair.
Tag team.
Tag team. Favorite tag team of all time. Ooh. I'm going to go with why are you nodding? Can you stop? He's so
I'm just doing what I'm supposed to.
stop.
Sorry.
Stop.
Sorry.
Stop.
Oh, I thought they asked me that
Are we
question.
are
I'm
we
sorry.
am I just going to I'm going to throw all indie workers out. I'm going to go with Fly
Go
Death.
for it.
Don't mind me. I'm just doing what I'm
Since he
supposed
wants
to do.
to, yeah, all right.
I may or may not have that on my Apple playlist. Little workout mix, you know.
And favorite manager.
Favorite manager. If we're sticking with the indie scene, I'm gonna go with Gnostico. But I will deny if this ever gets out to the public. I will deny it. But man, he's good.
Yeah, we forced.
He's
it.
Of course it's going to be out to the public.
I don't care. Like
Yeah,
just scratch this part, right?
Yeah.
we forced to come up with that answer.
Yeah.
Would you rather be a babyface or would you rather be a heel?
You know, I like both. I can swing both ways. So, but I mean, I enjoy being heel.
Hey now.
I'm glad you did it for me.
Hey now.
I can see that struggle over there, but I literally fed it to you.
I was gonna say that's what she said. But,
Yeah.
Thank you, Ryan, for that. I appreciate you getting that for me. I appreciate you being the first one to say something about that. Okay.
All right.
All right.
I'm scared of him, huh?
Who do you feel is an underrated wrestler right now?
Oh, good
Underrated.
Good question. It's a really good question.
So I wholeheartedly on the opposite side of the couch with me. Ryan is definitely underrated.
I swear, guys, I'm not paying her. I promise.
I know.
I'm
No,
not.
like literally, if anybody asks me about with wrestling and all of that, Ryan's wrestling versus our relationship are two totally different things. You know, I do idolize what he does in the ring. He's phenomenal with his mannerisms, his facials, the way that he works, the way he, you know, can interact with the crowd, with the cameras, with his opponent. Like literally, it's phenomenal. Yeah, shucks. Stop it. You're gonna look silly on camera.
Doesn't care.
Man, come on.
But-
I'm the Texas champ, baby.
You know, there are some other, you know, indie talent, especially within Row, you know, Promise, Braxton. Man, that girl needs a contract right
My
favorite
freaking now.
Excellent. She
is phenomenal.
Yeah, man.
You know, Gigi's right up there too. You know, sign those girls.
Yep.
Let's go. You know,
yeah.
I could go on for days.
Hunter, Tony's, whoever runs TNA right now, somebody.
Let's go.
sign them two. Sign them two right now.
Somebody got to be watching. I mean, Roe just surpassed like 800,000
Yeah.
followers on
Let's go.
YouTube, man. I'm
Yeah.
like, somebody's
Come
got to
on.
be watching something.
Somebody signed
Somebody's
Promise
gotta be watching
Braxton
something.
and GG.
There you go.
Come on, GG Ray.
There
Quick.
you go. There you
Quick.
go.
And one last one. Out of every championship, no matter if indie or major companies, what is your favorite championship?
Brother, have you seen that Sherry Martel Classic Championship?
Yes.
Oh yeah, it's pretty belt.
Oh,
Pretty title.
dude!
Cool.
I see.
Gorgeous belt.
When I was coming up, I watched so much of Sherry Martel because that was who I was gaining a lot of my promo skills from. You know, limited things to go off of, and she was just so animated and in your face, and you had no option but to listen to her, whether she was scary Sherry or sensational. It didn't matter. And that belt is just, it's got her pictures on it. Like, I feel like you guys should post it up like right here in this, but it's the perfect shade of purple. It's got her photo on either side, and it says Sherry Martel right in the middle. It probably has to be one of my favorite belts I have ever seen made. On the side of that social media belt that we saw at that, what was it, Gulf Coast show? Do you
Oh
remember it?
yeah, I know what you're talking about.
It had every social media on it. So
Yeah. Oh, well, now I do. Okay. Because I was in there like, oh yeah, and I was like, I don't remember that. But then I'm all like, oh wait, no, yeah,
we took
I do
pictures
remember
with
that.
it.
Yes, that's
because
right.
it was so
Yes, I do
unique.
remember that. I do remember
unique.
that now.
But
I do
yes,
remember
the
that
Sherry
now.
Martel is my favorite.
Don't hurt me.
Okay, no,
Stop it.
That was a quick speed round.
That was a quick speed round.
I didn't want to. Of course, you know I can't ask the who's
Yeah,
overrated and stuff
yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
I don't
Why
wanna-
not?
I don't.
Brother,
Oh no, don't give her.
Yes.
I am the
Yeah.
goddess
Don't give her
of
any-
destruction.
don't
Who
give her
are
any
we
fuel.
destroying
Okay, wait,
right
the
now?
last
we
one.
are in the last 5 minutes. I
Yeah,
think
and
we're
the
good.
last one. Who do you feel is one of the most overrated wrestlers
He's been waiting to ask
of all
that question.
time?
The most overrated.
What'd you guys do?
Overrated.
What'd y'all do?
Overrated.
Yeah.
You fed into him.
Now no.
All right.
No,
All right.
She asked for it.
T. I'm sorry. All right, go ahead. Who's overrated?
Right now, it's you.
Oh yeah, you know, I've been called worse. It's fine.
No. So are we talking just in general? Like what we looking at? Are we looking? You want what kind of tea you want here?
And when I tell you,
There you go.
it don't matter if who do you feel like shouldn't have been where they were, or who is, just someone that's just over, like just that shouldn't have been as over as they were. You know, just who's overrated? Who do you feel like is overrated?
Get out of this corner, Mama. Gotta get
All
out.
right.
Put yourself in it.
So
Yeah.
Know this answer.
I'm scanning through. So I've got ADHD super bad. So I'm like literally scanning through like the decades of wrestling, kind of, going through it. Vince McMahon.
Are you talking about like for wrestling?
Mr. McMahon? The
Mr.
Mr. McMahon
McMahon.
character?
The character,
The character itself.
Fair enough. I mean,
I feel like I that's kind of one of those things. Like, I know I'm shooting myself in the freaking foot right now. It's fine.
Bang.
He did a phenomenal job. He brought the family in, all of that, and he created this dynamic of bringing family into wrestling and then creating the story. But I feel like the wrestling should have spoke for itself, and the storylines within the wrestling should have spoke for itself. That there was no need to bring the family into it to create additional drama. But that's just me. Foot shot. It's fine. It's
That's not really a bad perspective though on it.
but that's just how I look at it. Like the boys should have been able to go out, tell the story with their matches, have their promos, do their vignettes. Even back in the day, you know, they're all exhausted because they're on the road all the time. The schedule is awful. So I do get that there was breathers in there with Vince being a part of it. I totally understand. But for as long as it went on, you know, he created an empire, and he has all the respect for me humanly possible for that. But his character as Mr. McMahon in wrestling, involving Steph and you know, his son and everything, like it was too much, and it wasn't enough that it took away from the wrestling itself. Now, when they involved themselves in wrestling, it became a little hilarious, you know, blowing out quads and things along like that. But and that created a bit of like, not everybody can do it kind of scenario. Like, you know, hey, you're gonna slide in the ring, you're gonna get hurt. Like that's real life. It's real life. So it literally showed you like, hey, this isn't for everyone. But foot shot, you know, I'll get canceled tomorrow. No. You'll never see Shiva ever again. It's
you
fine.
won't get canceled. No, you'll be fine.
I'm with you right there. I'm with you on that. I appreciate you answering that, because you have no idea how bad I've been wanting somebody to answer that specific
Most
question.
people give you a political answer.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you know,
everybody's good. You know, everybody's
in our household, can I tell you who the number one overrated wrestler in our household is? Is Buff Daddy.
Oh yeah, man. Hey,
Buff
let me tell you something.
Daddy.
Let me tell you something.
Let me tell you right now.
Good
My
night.
He's buff. He's the stuff, and the girls can't
get enough.
All right,
Buff
So,
Daddy.
y'all need to see Ryan Davidson
is
Buff
the
Daddy.
stuff.
Something different though.
I'm simply delicious.
vicious and
Bro.
delicious.
Hey,
So,
you better
you brought back
believe. True. Quick story. Last night, as she went to the restroom, I just randomly got on my phone and I played Buff Daddy's theme song, and I am flexing on top of the bed, and she's like, "I'm going to the couch," and I'm just like, "Where are you going?" "I'm Buff Daddy." Like, just that's my dude, man. That's my dude.
Never ends.
You will put respect on Buff Daddy's name.
You know,
Great show, huh?
Yeah, I needed that one. That was good.
I'm Buff Daddy.
Good. Yeah.
Dance and everything.
I hope you guys know I just shot myself in the foot for this one, because now it won't end.
Oh, dude.
It's going to be a long
What you think we're
drive
gonna play
to
on the way to
training.
row, man?
Of course.
Man. It's like, honey, remember the podcast we were talking about it? She's just like, pull over.
Yeah, just let me. I'll walk the rest of the way.
It's my car. He can get out.
Oh, I love this podcast. It's so fun. That's great.
Man. But we look. I want to say this from speak on his behalf as well.
Mm-hmm.
We appreciate y'all.
Appreciate
We
y'all
do
more.
greatly
Appreciate y'all,
for
man.
joining us on the show.
Thank you.
Thank y'all for taking the time out of y'all busy schedule to come mess with us, come talk to us for a little bit. We do appreciate it.
Yeah.
Greatly appreciate it. And you want me to go ahead and wrap it on up?
Wrap it up, B.
All right. Well,
Let's go.
you already know what time it is, man. Thank y'all for joining the Tag Champs podcast, part of the Big Propaganda Wrestling Podcast Network, The A Show. The A Show. Don't forget that. Yeah, Mike, I said it. The A Show. We want to thank our very special guests, Ryan Davidson and Sheeva Queen.
We on the
Thank y'all
A
for
Show.
joining.
Buff Daddy.
We on A Show.
Thank y'all
Buff
for joining
Daddy.
us.
That's
And
it.
for your boy, the Beige Bomber, the Petty Messiah, your boy Corey Jared in the building.
Buff
Daddy! Y'all know what time it is, man. Don't
Let's
watch
go, Buff
Dynamite TV.
Let's go.
Guru Dynamite
Let's
in the
go.
building.
That's it.
And when you're with the PWO, you are down for life.